Hi everyone, this is Caitlin from grassfedgirl.com, and we're here today with my little brother. He's going to talk about how he started carnivore and why. And I think if you, one reason I wanted to do this is because he is a lot younger than me, and he's from a different generation, of course, and he is an engineer, so he thinks about things a lot differently than I do. So I think you'll enjoy this if you have a different kind of brain than me. So let's get started. Constant, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so we are siblings, but we didn't grow up in the same house. So we have the same mother, so we have a lot of similarities, but we also have some differences. So Carson lives in the Midwest, in Kansas City, but in the Missouri side,
Yeah,
right?
officially.
Is that the cool side?
Uh, yeah, there's more cool stuff usually in Missouri, but you know, once you live here long enough, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's all Kansas City. So
So, so when he, so he's going to tell us, so why you've been into your health for a long time. I mean, and even when you were young, you were 17, 18, starting to be interested in your health. What started that off?
yeah, so originally, like, growing up, I was eating just the standard American diet, and kind of miserable half the time. And I really was curious. It kind of built. It was building inside me, like, why do I feel like crap? Why is it just so hard to do the daily things of life? And so that was building in me as I was getting, just petty infections here and there, being sick more than I wanted to. And it was just so not fun. Life wasn't fun. And it was a chore just to like go through, school and coming home and trying to enjoy what I could. So I really got a burning why built inside me, and that kind of came to fruition in high school when I was just asking more questions and I was learning how to think more. So originally, it was like high school, I really became just like I became aware that things weren't just what they were told to you to be, and so
Like there was more to the story.
yeah. So I eventually, like, Caitlin got me the book from Paul Chek, How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy, and that really that was the groundwork to yeah.
Look at I have it right here.
That's it. That was the groundwork to kind of get me really to realize hey, there's a better way to do this, and so I really jumped in pretty quickly on that and enjoyed just the explanation of this is why all this could be happening. So I was ready to not just eat pizza and wonder why my face was just hurting from congestion and everything. So
Did you have asthma or what was it? Allergies or?
it's definitely just difficulty breathing. So as I realized, dairy was probably my most sensitive food, and so I mean I had it pretty freely growing up, and then after reading the book, it kind of got me to realize, hey, this could be an allergen or causing you problems without you really realizing it. I mean, there's so many layers of allergy. Like, you can be just sensitive and you feel bad versus what we're commonly told as an allergy is you freak out and you can't do anything, like your body swells up and blah
Not,
blah blah.
it's more of a sensitivity than an anaphylaxis
Yeah.
reaction. But
So I did really well once I eliminated dairy. That helped a lot. Um, so that was like a a kind of, I saw the light at the end of the tunnel. It was opening up more, and
You had some skin problems too, right? A little bit of skin breakouts and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't crazy, but uh, like, I mean, like all teenagers, the whole, the shift of hormones and the body's, you're doing the best you can with the knowledge you have, but it's sometimes hard to look in the mirror and see like, what am I doing wrong? And if you don't know, then it's definitely hard on your psyche. So I enjoyed, eliminating dairy, but then I still was kind of using food as an escape, and I didn't really have the tools to process emotions well, and so I kind of developed a lot of sensitivities to many foods because I was overeating, just to, numb out the pain of what I was going through and not really sure how to deal with it. And so
So
I continued to go
was that
ahead.
more in college? Are you more in college now or
Yeah.
high school?
Well, yeah, I'd say, well, the stress definitely like ratcheted up in college. So you're more like, you binge eat or something, and then you're like, why did I do that? And then you don't, you say never again, and then a week later you find yourself doing it. Um, so eventually I continued exploring, and uh, I eliminated gluten as kind of my next step, and that really helped. Once I did it for like a month, uh, I really realized, one, I went back to eating any type of bread, even the really good Ezekiel stuff. It was
Sourdough.
like, it's not okay. So I mean, it's definitely, you got to find your own way to see what you're sensitive to, and but the common ones are definitely like, they're common among most people because they're highly likely to irritate the gut. So as life went on, I got out of college and I met this girl, a woman, I should say, and I she was really, um, I liked her a lot, and the relationship was kind of built around being vegan. So I went vegan for like a year and a half, to the horror of my family. But
But
I
we tried to hold back, right? We didn't say too much.
right, yeah,
We just talked about you. We were worried about you.
yeah, yeah. I mean, sometimes you got to let people just do their thing, and they'll realize it. The body will talk. So
We knew you would come around.
yeah, after about a year and a half, I really got like debilitating jaw pain, and so I had to ask questions again and see what I was lacking. And when you're in pain, kind of all bets are off when you'll try anything. So I eventually started supplementing again with like, uh, what is it, the blue ice fermented cod liver oil, and that helped a lot. And so I had to reevaluate and consider adding meat back in, even though like the whole animal argument was strong in me, but it's it's such a complicated way to phrase and get through all that. But I think humor, ultimately, like not taking life too seriously, and it's not as serious as they make it out to be. Like, of course, factory farming and slaughterhouse, it's atrocious when you see the documentaries and you're appalled, and I did. So I mean, I felt all that, but if you're dying, your body's in unexplainable pain, like you have to reconcile it back to somehow to, get holistically treated animals as best you can in your environment and in what you're doing. So I really enjoy going to finding farms and really developing relationships with those people, because they're in touch with the land and they treat animals humanely, and it's just it feels better if you have that outlet to really connect with the land and connect with the people and the animals as well.
Absolutely. That relationship ended.
Yeah, basically when I decided not to be vegan, it kind of crumbled, and so, but I was sure that I needed meat, and um, I kind of went back to paleo and was enjoying it for 6 months or whatever, and like it felt it felt good, but I still had like poor digestion with certain foods, and I didn't know why, and whether it's just I I sought the best greens I could for years, and still I didn't feel right. Like, I could see undigested food and just, in the back end. So it's like, what's going on? I thought I was doing the best I could. And so eventually, I came and saw Caitlin for some visit, and she was really just like, you got to try carnivore. You got to just give it a month and see what happens. So I was intrigued enough to try it because, what did I have to lose? I like experimenting with food and seeing how the body responds. And so I jumped in and really did it for a month, and saw how my body changed, microbiome, and just better feeling when I ate food. It's back to a simplicity of just like, you're not blasting the body with like, hundreds of different things to sort out and digest. So it's just that simplicity really was pretty cool to experience, and just not, it's like, it's also a rest because you're not like figuring out what you have to eat all the time, keeping it new, keeping it fresh. It's like, hey man, just throw the ribeye on. And so that was a lot of fun to just, have that as the go-to meal. And I felt better as I stuck with it. And so I really enjoyed how it all kind of, it wasn't a lot of effort. I mean, you're doing it, but it's really just like, meat, salt, and water. It's like, okay, I can do it. Getting over that first week is a little hard because you're like, well, I'm kind of bored, but it's like your body adjusts and your brain adjusts to find other things to do, and not just like look super forward to like the novelty in food. Like, it's great, but there's other ways, and as you develop other habits, then it's not like, it doesn't feel like such a loss.
So did you notice any digestive changes at first?
It took a while. Definitely, like I'd say like 3 weeks in, I could definitely see that I was having better digestion. No undigested particles when I would go to the bathroom, and it's just like I hadn't had that for a while. I don't know. I mean, it was just a refreshing, like, you're checking in with the body that by being aware of that. And so I knew I felt better, and then to see the proof in that way as well was really inspiring.
So you suffered with a lot of pain in your wrist, didn't you? Is that still a problem, or did it help that, or your jaw pain you were talking about before?
Um, Kind of depends. I mean, it depends on how active I am. I mean, uh, I definitely don't. I mean, I feel that just the certainty that I'm not irritating my gut as much as helping inflammation in all areas of the body.
So just lowered overall, like any pain or sensitive areas are just a little less.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely can improve that. Yeah, it depends on how much you're in that state and how that transition affects you. I will say, as I've slowly added certain foods back, like sweet potatoes or blueberries or something, I'm very sensitive to ones that don't agree, which I've never really had that. So if I eat greens, if I eat, a beautiful salad with beautiful dressing and it's farm fresh and it's lovely, it just
You're
2 hours of stomach pain. It's just
you're
like,
wrecked.
it's clear. It's a very clear message that this is not what you need right now. So
Well, I mean, sometimes it takes pulling it out to get that input. Um, so what's your typical day when you were doing carnivore? How would you eat, or what would you eat, and the schedule and stuff?
um, I usually still had egg. I have like eggs in the morning, um, and then that's like 3 or 4, and then some type of either a steak for lunch, like a ribeye from Trader Joe's. Probably my favorite place to get them because they're, I don't know. Um, then dinner time is like either, uh, I mean, it could be chicken thighs that I've fried up, or baking of chicken wings, or some type of ground pork or pork loin. That has more flexibility, variability. But I try to get a steak a day, and then usually eggs are for breakfast. So that was kind of my flow. And then I would have beef jerky as like snacks. So if you're like, you're going out somewhere or whatever, then it's like, hey, this is all you need. So
Oh, as a young person, is it hard? Was it hard to? Did people ask you, like your friends, or was it hard to deal with your friends while you were doing it?
I think that's the worst part. Like you're trying to break it to people that you're only eating meat is hard. Like it's shocking. So be prepared for that. But like it's like, if you have enough points, like it's a strict elimination diet. It's eliminating foods that are very irritating, and I feel great. Like if you set the state of like, I love it, and you're gonna be okay with it, like then they'll come on board. But if you're like kind of like, I'm doing this thing and I don't really know, like, then they're gonna jump on you and like, hey, why are you doing that, man? Like, so it's up to you how you present it. You'll get better by just practicing with people, and you'll see like, oh, that really went well.
So you got to be confident a little bit, or
Yeah, committed, even, yeah. So.
well, you have a lot of friends that are doing a plant-based diet. Did they give you hard time?
Uh, yeah, I mean, it's really hard to break the paradigm of like, you have to eat plants, you have to eat fruit, you have to have fruits and vegetables. Like, if they want to do it, do it. But like, I know how I feel, and I know that it's like, I know I'm in touch with my body, so it tells me, like, ultimately, if you're meditating and if you're checking in with yourself daily, then it should just be very individual of what you need versus what they need. Like at their point in their journey, if they want to be eating plants, and that's totally cool. Like I was there, so I see myself in them as like, hey, when they're ready or if they want to do it, you know. But definitely, it's hard to like break that barrier if somebody's like, it depends on how like open-minded they are about food. Food can be really hard to like get people like, hey, like it's all right, you know. It's not. I'm not converting to the dark side here. It's
Well, we have such a carb-based culture and a plant-based culture. I mean, even if people aren't vegan, they are plant-based because they don't eat a lot of proportion of meat to the rest of their diet.
yeah. I mean, just knowing that. I mean, plants are brilliant chemists, and they don't necessarily want to be eaten. So, I mean, researching into that, you can kind of get a grasp of like, hey, like like they're gonna have defense mechanisms in the leaves or in the flora. So you got to be careful of what you're eating and just decide for yourself what's beneficial for you.
So I know, like I kept telling you it was good and you should try it and stuff, but was there any other people that you watched or read about that you kind of followed their lead about how to do carnivore?
Um, I mean, I first heard kind of Jordan Peterson on Joe Rogan's podcast, kind of like open it up and not like, of course he's honest, like he's not an expert in this area, but it was really helping him. And so that's kind of when I first heard about it. And then I tried it for a little bit, but not long enough at that time. So I tried it for like 2 weeks. And that wasn't enough to really like, the microbiome changes like 21 days to 30 days in. So that was my experience.
So did you feel like your gut changed for the positive?
Yeah. Just, I mean, it's weird being so sensitive to certain foods, but like, I mean, I feel great with what I can eat now.
So how do
And
you
it's
choose, sorry,
go ahead.
how do you choose which thing you're gonna try to add back?
I mean, if it was a food I really liked before, but it's not. I don't know. Sometimes it's just presented in a situation with people. Like I was at dinner at a friend's and they had like acorn squash and rice kind of baked together, and that was okay. It was like a wild rice blend, and they did that well. So I tried that. I felt okay, and then they had the salad, and I tried both. And after I ate the salad, it was like, hell no, you do that. So,
Yeah, well, you don't seem as sensitive to carbohydrates as me. I mean, was it hard to get rid of the carbs in the first place? Like, I mean,
um,
you guys can't see him, but he's very tall and lean, and I mean, he doesn't gain weight easily.
yeah, I don't know. I was always trying to eat the best I could, so I'm sure that
But
somehow that helps. But
did you have sugar cravings and stuff at the beginning?
um, not like, I think if you have enough salt and you're getting, ultimately, like if I drank enough water, like if I was craving the carbs, um, just making sure I had enough water that day, like it would really go away quickly, and it wasn't this compulsive like, give me sugar, like, it's like if your body has water, it's sometimes it gets confused because if you're used to having that little boost from a high sugar thing, you can be deceived by, like, you can misinterpret it, what your body needs. So I mean, having 2-3 liters of water a day really helped just keep that in check.
Yeah, that's a great tip. What about salt? What did you do about that?
In what way do you mean?
Did you take extra or just put it on your food, or did you feel like your electrolytes were messed up?
I mean, definitely, I was very like, it was pretty salty on every steak or whatever. Like um, that really helped. That helped the digestion. It was less like, oh my gosh, I'm eating all this meat. Like the salt actually helps your stomach produce more stomach acid. So if you don't have it, if you don't have enough, then it could feel like overwhelming to your stomach to just be eating all this meat and fat. But yeah, balancing out the salt and then water as well to not get too salty inside.
So did you eat organ meats?
Not really. I mean, I have before. I don't know. Maybe I could add in try try to have like more of that. It's on my list on my fridge. So,
Maybe from your farmer.
yeah, because I got really good duck eggs from them. So
Duck eggs. That sounds good. And so, how about cooking? Is that a challenge for you? Are you pretty good at that?
I mean, the simplicity of it definitely was like you get really good at cooking a steak, knowing like the exact time. Like I have a timer on my stove. I put like 2 minutes this side, 2 minutes that side, and then let it sit or whatever. Like you'll figure it out with your stove like quickly. So that was really cool because I mean, if you don't cook your steak right, it's not good. So,
Yes. And you don't want to waste that. That's
yeah.
expensive. Yeah.
So
Oh
it's
wait, I
very
mean,
you get very specific skills with the food you make, and like if I cook hamburgers, it's like maybe I'll add the egg, and then it you get just very sensitive to how like medium rare or medium whatever you want, but you're able to really lock in like, okay, medium rare, it's my favorite. Then you get the setup of like, all right, how much time each side. If you do it, if you care, I mean, you should, because it's like, then it's more likely that you have what you want at mealtime.
oh yeah, it's important. You do instant pot sometimes, don't you?
Yeah, I've made some chicken. Uh, what did I make in there? I mean, yeah, like a whole chicken with the organs and stuff as well. So.
Cool. So, what do you see as your plan for going forward? Like, how is your carnivore trial going to influence your choices going forward?
Well, I'm happy with just how how I don't know, it's simplifying my life a lot. So I don't see like, I mean, I can't really go back to just eating whatever. Like even with a certain guideline of organic and holistic as best you can. Uh, so I don't know, really, like until something really calls, or until the body's like, hey, like this isn't working anymore. Um, for now, it feels really good, and I feel really balanced with what's going on inside and outside.
So are you planning to keep like meat as a main portion of your diet, or you gonna add,
Yes.
okay.
Um, yeah. I mean, most like I have meat at every meal, and
Or
some
eggs?
some carbohydrate here and there. But it's still like, it's mostly carnivore. So I feel, if I give my body time to see, if I add a food back in, I really pay attention to see, what it's like inside, and then how do I feel the next few hours and so on.
So you'll probably avoid a lot of like greens and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried it like 2 or 3 separate occasions with good intention and chewing well and like everything I could do to like have this be accepted by the body, and it said no way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's just so simple, and I think it kind of gives you permission to not to feel like, because we grew up thinking we have to eat our vegetables, we have to eat our vegetables. It kind of gives you permission to just have those simple meals of just hamburgers or just steak, or you don't have to feel that constant like, oh, I have to prepare all this stuff. And
Yeah, that's been a big like, yeah, I mean, it gives you a little more time. I mean, it creates more time because you're not thinking about like, oh, what am I gonna make? What do I have to combo? What do I have to prepare? Like, yeah, you still do that a little bit, but it's much less than like a full time, like, okay, a 3-piece meal or 4-piece, whatever. It's like that's work.
and did it save you money? Was it good on your budget? About the same?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, it depends on. Oh, I'm definitely not. You don't have to buy any like specialty, like value added foods anymore. It's
Like,
definitely like your steaks are like, you're getting your bang for your buck, and you'll be full and you'll be satisfied with that. So
I know I used to spend a ton of money on like dark chocolate and kombucha and stuff like that, and now I don't.
yeah, I mean, whatever those are for you, like, um, I mean, even like, I mean, any type of yogurts are like, eh, holistic stuff. They love to just like slap extra price just because it's like, oh, we're doing, we're doing right by the environment. It's like this should be standard across the board. But so if you're able to cut out those value added foods that were, you know, a big part of your diet, then yeah, you're definitely able to be at least be more satisfied with the same amount of money if if you don't spend less.
Yeah, I mean, we already were eating well, so it cost a lot to eat well already. So
Yeah,
um, it's probably about the same. It's not going to add more if you're already eating kind of a paleo diet. You might save in some areas, but I think living, eating well costs a lot of money. So,
yeah,
um,
it's definitely gonna. Yeah, I mean, you have to care. You have to. It has to be a value for you to spend that much money. So
yeah, pay now or pay later.
right, it's gonna be medical bills or whatever bills.
Yeah, and so I know you're into your fitness. What is your kind of routine with that?
Um, I can't go to the gym. My favorite.
What's your
Uh,
Corona routine?
um, I've rearranged my house or my apartment like completely, so there's all this space to move, and like I have my kettlebells, like 25s and then 10s, 10-pound weights, and so I'll do, you know, everything I can with that, and then whether it's just you know, presses, flies,
Rose.
yeah. It's definitely difficult to make do with that, but it's been a fun challenge to try and like, can I get the same intensity of workout? I'll do handstand push-ups. Like those are probably my favorite right now that I can get. Like these are really hard, and I don't need a gym for this.
So was it hard when you were doing carnivore? Did you have enough energy to exercise? Was there like
Yeah.
an adaptation period?
I mean, I just felt better. Like,
So it wasn't like you were like some people, at first they have like the keto flu and they can't even do anything, but then they feel a lot better and they have like a surge of energy or something.
uh, yeah, I, I push myself to go work out anyway. So it's like, if, yeah,
So what?
sometimes I feel, yeah, in my, as I'm going to the gym, it's like, I'm tired. It's like, you're always tired. Now get
Yeah,
in there and do it. Like,
that's right. Good job.
so,
You can have your mind playing tricks on you for sure. Like, I don't feel like it today, and it's Tuesday, so I'll stay in the bed or something.
yeah, it's infinitely devious to try and get you to not do it.
Have you been Now, how have you been keeping your mood up during all this gloom and doom the last several weeks, months?
Lots of yoga. Uh,
Lots of
yeah,
yoga.
yeah. I'll do like inversions and listen to piano music for like, I mean, it'll be a full album of like, um, name's Michelle McLaughlin. She's probably my favorite, but she has really like diverse tracks, and so sometimes you're in the flow and you're like able to really focus and like hold different poses with more intensity, but
Um,
it has a varying tempo. So you're, like sometimes you're just chilling in a more like relaxed state. And then later it's like, all right, here we go. Let's add intensity to a hold, or just how whatever's feeling like it needs attention. Mostly for me, it's like shoulder stuff. So I'll do. If I'm doing headstands and articulating with my hands, that really helps keep the flow, and the inversion gets the blood flow. Um, so that's probably my favorite thing to do. And yeah, just lots of stretching, foam rolling when things hurt. Uh, I mean, I go to the park almost every day because it's the only thing open. Uh,
and
yeah.
and
Fun,
you don't watch the news, right?
what news? Like it's trash talk. Yeah, they're just, if they really cared about you, their message would be, here's how to strengthen your immune system.
Yeah.
10 things how to do it. Like they're just they're not they don't the message that's being sent is like, freak out. Here's why. So,
And I think they're finding more and more that if you're metabolically healthy, that you have more resilience against this virus and might
yeah,
not.
it's do the things you would do normally anyway, like diffuse thieves oil in your house. Like that's you should do that anyway, and it helps. Like just trust yourself. Like take care of yourself. You'll be fine, because that's socially isolating. It's damaging to the immune system because you don't have connection. You don't have like you have to find a way. Find the people who will like hang out with you. It's been hard, I know, but
or if you're you can still connect with people. I mean, just we're doing that now. You know, we don't talk on the phone much, but we're connecting now. You know, there's people you can talk to on Zoom or however that person might be comfortable. Even if they don't want to hang out in person, you know, it's important to make extra effort to talk to people.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest message to myself is like, you got to get outside every day. Something like just being locked in your house is like, it's very quickly a dark road to just, you're, you're not going to be, you're not going to recognize yourself. You're like, who is this guy? It's just, so.
That's going to lead probably to like eating junk and stuff like that too.
Yeah, I mean, I start just going bananas. My head's just like, I gotta get out of here. Like, it's just like, it's important to just heed the call. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, I go walking about an hour every day at least to just, and it's been such nice weather that, you know, it's such a shame to stay inside. And
Definitely.
so um mom's probably coming. Our mom is coming over probably to walk with me in a minute, so I better I better go. So you have any tips for people who are young or your age and maybe wanting to try carnivore?
Definitely just give it a try. Give it enough time to really see the changes. And then your body will let you know if it's worth it. So commit, do it, and get your phrases for people when they ask you, "What are you doing?" Blah, blah, whatever. You heard the whole diet. You have to be able to just kind of defend yourself in conversation that it's like, I'm doing this and I want to and I like it. So
Yeah, that's awesome. So if people want to ask you any questions or find you on social media, or do you have anything anywhere they can follow
uh,
you or message you or something?
yeah, I mean, I'm on Instagram as Nature's Alive and Calling, and that's the same name as my YouTube channel too. Those
Okay.
are those are ways to get in touch if you want to.
All right. Well, I'll put a link down below in the description box. And if this has been helpful, then make sure and subscribe to my channel. And please,
Give it a like.
yes. So thank you, Carson. It was great to see you. And we'll talk to you soon. All right. See you next time.
Right.
Bye-bye.